Hi guys, I'm going to read a story to you called The First Day of Middle School. There's going to be some questions attached to this story at the bottom of your assignment. There are 3 questions there, and what you have to do is copy those questions and add them to the comment box. Once they're in the comment box, go ahead and answer the question, the 3 questions below each question. Does that make sense? Again, let me just go back. Copy the questions in the instructions, add them into the comment box, and answer the questions there. I think that's a little bit more clear. Okay, so I'm going to be reading this story called The First Day of Middle School. My stomach was tied in knots, and I could feel the sweat soaking through my t-shirt. My hands were clammy as I spun the face of my combination lock. I tried and tried to remember the numbers, and every time I thought I had it, the lock wouldn't open. Around and around went the numbers: left, right, left. Which way was it supposed to go? I couldn't make it work. I gave up and started to run down the hallway. As I ran, the hall seemed to get longer and longer, and the door I was trying to reach was farther away than when I had started. I began to sweat even worse. Then I could feel the tears forming. I was late for my first class on my first day of middle school. As I ran, people were watching me, and they were laughing. Then the bell rang. In my dream, it was the school bell. But as I sat up in my bed, I realized that it was my alarm clock jarring me awake. I was having the dream again. I started having the dream around the end of 6th grade, and as the start of the 7th grade drew closer, the more I had the dream. This time the dream was even more real because today was the morning of the first day of 7th grade. In my heart, I knew I would never make it. Everything was too different. School, friends, even my own body. I was used to walking to school, and now I had to walk 6 blocks to the bus stop so that I could take the bus to and from school. I hated buses. They made me car sick, and the jiggling and the smell of the fuel. I had to get up for school earlier than in the past, partly because of having to be bused to school, and partly because I had to take better care of myself, and now that I was in my preteen years. My mom told me that I would have to shower every morning since my hormones were kicking in. That's why I perspired so easily, sweating. I was totally uncomfortable with my body. My feet didn't want to respond to my own directions. I tripped a lot. I constantly had a sprained ankle and things stuck in my braces. I felt awkward, insecure, and like I had bad breath on a full-time basis. In middle school, I would have to learn the rules and personalities of 6 different teachers, and instead of just one. There would be different kids in all my classes, kids I didn't even know. I had never made friends very easily, and now I would have to start all over again. I would have to run in my locker between classes, remember my combination, open it up, put the books from the last class and take out different books, and make it to the next class all within 5 minutes. I was also scared because some stories I had heard about the first day of middle school, like being canned by 8th graders. That's when a bunch of 8th graders would pick you up and put you in a trash can. I had also heard that when 8th grade girls catch a new 7th grader in the girls' bathroom alone, they would smear her with lipstick. Neither one of these first day activities sounded like something I wanted to take part in. No one had ever told me that growing up was going to be so hard, so scary, so unwelcome, so unexpected. I was the oldest kid in my family, in fact, in my entire neighborhood, and no one had been there before me to help lead me through the challenges of middle school. I was on my own. The first day of school was almost everything I feared. I didn't remember my combination. I wrote the combination on my hand, but my hand was so sweaty it came off. I was late to every class. I didn't have enough time to finish my lunch. I had just sat down to eat when the bell rang to go back to my class. I almost choked on my peanut butter and banana sandwich as I ran down the dreaded hallway. The classrooms and the teachers were a blur. I wasn't sure what teacher went with what subject, and they all had assigned homework on the very first day. I couldn't believe it. But the first day wasn't like my dream in another way. In my dream, all the other kids had it together, and I was the only one who was a nerd. In real life, I wasn't the only one who was late for class. Everyone else was late too. No one could remember their combination either except Ted Milken, the kid who carried a briefcase to school. Most of the kids realized, after most of the kids realized that everyone else was going through the same thing they were going through, we all started cracking up. We were bumping into each other in our rush to get to the class and to the next, and books were flying everywhere. No one got canned, smeared, at least no one I knew. I still didn't get into the girls' bathroom alone, just in case. Yeah, there was a laughter in the hallway, but most of it was the laughter of kids sharing a common experience. Complete hysteria. After the weeks went by, it became easier and easier. Pretty soon, I could twirl my combination without even looking at it. I hung posters in my lockers, and finally felt like I was at home. I learned all of my teachers' names and decided who I liked best. Friendships from elementary school were renewed and made stronger, and new friends were made. I learned how to change into a gym suit in front of other girls, and it never felt comfortable, but I did it. I just like everyone else did. I don't think any of us felt very comfortable. I still didn't like the bus. It did make me car sick. I even threw up on the bus once. At least it was on the way home, not on the way to school. I went to dances and parties, and I started to wonder what it feels like to have a lot of friends. The school had track tryouts, and I made the team and learned how to jump the low hurdles. I got pretty good at it too. The first semester turned into the second and the third, and before I knew it, 8th grade was just around the corner. I had made it through. Next year, on the first day of school, I would be watching the new 7th graders sweating it out just like I did, just like everyone else does. I decided that I would feel sorry for them, but only for the first day of 7th grade. After that, it's a breeze. So now, go down to the comments, copy the 3 questions, and answer the 3 questions about this story.